My close colleagues have actually gone to a food bank, but they have actually had to choose what they give the children to eat. You know, they maybe go for the cheaper product rather than the more expensive product. And to be honest with you, a lot of places, like you could go to Farm Foods, which was your cheaper place, but now they're just getting just as expensive as the other places. So where they're going to go from here, I don't know, because costs are going up and up and up, and there just doesn't seem to be an end to it at the moment.
Yeah, and we know that you know, there's a real push around healthy eating, healthy living, to help the health service so that people don't become unwell later. And I suppose often those unhealthy snacks and unhealthy food is cheaper, and more of it than you can get, you know, for other snacks. So it is. Have you heard of issues? And I think you picked up on fuel. Is fuel? It's obviously an issue for everybody getting in and out of work, but are you hearing community colleagues particularly saying that there's an issue?
Yeah, for us, I think we've had a 5% 5 pence per litre increase, but obviously where I live, we're paying more than that, and as a student, we get less than half of that, but still we need to do the same mileage. It's a real struggle. We're having to juggle. Before we could book in what we need to do, now you really have to think about your diary and think, well, maybe I need to change things around a bit so that I'm only going to one area on that day, or maybe I should work from home on this day because there's an extra £10 fuel just to get to the office and back. So things that we didn't have to think about before, we're now having to consider as community workers. It is a struggle.
Yeah, and we've heard of district nurses saying that they've gone off actually because they're so stressed about fuel, and that district nursing teams are having to, as you say, look at patients, prioritise, and maybe a patient that they would have seen more regularly, they're having to see on a more sporadic basis because they just can't afford to get around the patch. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I know people have said things to me like, why don't you get an e-car? Because, you know, that'll answer all your questions. Number one, not everybody's got the money to just go and buy a new car. Number two, where we live is extremely rural, so you might cover, you know, up to 3 county borders that week. To be able to drive those miles, your car would be flat. So there are things in the future that's going to help us. Right here and now, we need to be able to cover the cost of our fuel, because if it carries on like this, people aren't going to be able to afford to go to work.
And do you feel that there's a feeling out there, again we've sort of heard this from members, there's a feeling out there that they're subsidising the NHS by having to pay so much for fuel? They're actually paying to work rather than having the right amount to actually do their job, get to work and that kind of thing. Are you hearing that kind of thing?
I am, and I'm on a lot of social media sites when it comes to NHS and pay, and there's a lot of talk of that on those sites. People just feel that it's no benefit to going to work.
Yeah, absolutely.